Yo, what is good, my people of the world? We are getting ready for a new season 2 of the podcast. We got some new art, some new music, some new goals for the future. So as you can see from the title, we got some SMART goals, and the only way to actually see some growth with a project or business or whatever you're doing is to properly track it. And this is a great way to start SMART goals. So if you're unaware with this acronym, it stands for I got a little tripped up here, but if you're unaware of this acronym and what it stands for, please do stay and listen for more. I will go and explain it to you. So alrighty, S stands for specific, so you basically describe what you want to achieve. M for measurable, be able to definitively say whether you've hit your goal. A is for attainable, so it must be possible for you to achieve this goal. Relevant. R is for relevant. It should be aligned with your mission and larger goals. And T for time bound, so when is this goal due? So as you can see, SMART goals are a very great way to stay on track, break barriers with your own projects or work. You'll keep on improving over time with consistency and practice, and just get the big picture on just how much you have improved over a specific time period. So here we go with the Rim Break Business Podcast SMART goals. So my S is going to be I, the host, Albert, will try and upload every week, at least one episode. So a total of 52 new episodes by July 2020 of next year, because that's when I started this podcast, July 2020, last year. So that is a whole lot of, it's a whole bunch of different case studies, whole bunch of unique business content. I do plan on upgrading the audio setup by purchasing a Zoom audio recorder within that time period. Get that Team Crispy audio, I plan on recording wherever I can, abroad, at home, wherever. Just find a way to upload at a Starbucks or at a McDonald's. It doesn't matter. We gotta find a way to upload. I plan on growing the podcast audience as well, so increasing the listeners and downloads over the next year. Twice a week I'll post on the Twitter page, reaching out to other podcasts and other people. And I do want to incorporate more interviews into the show because they're really fun. So having a co-host or a reoccurring interview might be fun. Get all the joy and get a new perspective, and just to freshen up the show. Measurable. I'll hit my goal by uploading 52 episodes this year. Not necessarily 52 different business case studies, but 52 episodes. So, for example, this SMART episode is not a case study, but it will be going towards the 52 episode benchmark. Another benchmark that I have is getting listeners, or consistent listeners. So I want to get about 100 consistent weekly listeners. I'll be using Spotify to gauge all of this. They'll be my source of data. Just to keep things simple. I want to get 100 followers on Spotify. We currently have 10, which is pretty crazy to think about, Shout out to all 10 of them. If your name's Ben, shout out to Ben10, Grow up the streams up to 500. And a definition of a stream is when a user listens to an episode for 60 seconds or more. And you can learn all about that on the Spotify episode. I did a couple episodes back, so dig into the archives and get into that Spotify episode. A for attainable. In my current situation, it is a very small team working here on the podcast. The numbers are set. The numbers set are attainable with some elbow grease, some creative minds, and lots of research on the different businesses. If we achieve these goals we set, I'll just double the goal so we can keep on improving. So if we reach 100 listeners before the goal, I'll set a goal for 200. And if we hit 500 streams, I'll set a goal for 1,000. So, yeah, if that happens, that would be pretty awesome. Or for realistic, I do believe that our audience, or that if we grow this audience slowly and surely, that's the best way to do it. Just get some organic listeners. I don't want to just put garbage content out there, so yeah, it's very much like a business class to me, just teaching people, telling people some cool stuff. So yeah, quality over quantity. So 1 episode per week will be the best way for me to, it's just the most doable for me, 1 episode a week. Because but if life gets in the way, I'll work with it and just work with what I got. The goals are very much aligned to the goals of the podcast, which is to appreciate and spark curiosity of businesses around us. If I can get 100 loyal listeners, then we have a nice full business class, And finally, time bound. Goals are set, 1 episode per week for an entire year until July 2020. Get some interviews in, get some different ideas, some fun people on the show, keep practicing, and get that super crispy audio. So just grow the audience to 100, get 1,000 streams, and live and enjoy life in between. So I think that is about it for this episode this week. Hopefully you can set some SMART goals for your own projects. I'll share some SMART resources, some SMART goal setting resources in the show notes if you're interested. So yeah, that is it for the podcast, and I hope you enjoy your bike ride. Have a good day, and yeah, share it with 2 friends or whatever. I don't really care. I'll see you.